Let me pull up the chat. Get everybody a few minutes to come in. All right, so I'm going to review this paper that I got off Amazon. It's Bee paper. It's cold press, 90 pound. It is not 100% cotton. It is 30 inches by 5 yards. And I did a watercolor project with it, and then I did a mixed media project with it. So I was going to show you sort of the... It was not very expensive, but I thought since it was Bee paper, I would try it. So kind of have to hold this sideways a little bit. So this is the first piece I tried, and this is just straight up watercolor. Awful. Hi, Dot. Hi, Shauna. I mean, first of all, you can see how it really buckled a lot, and I did pre-wet it, and I did try to tape it down. It didn't matter if you got the paper wet or didn't get the paper wet, the pigment would just go and sit. You couldn't get it to flow. And the other thing it did was it wanted to pile up like immediately. And I wasn't adding any pressure to the paper. When I did the face, I did the hair, then I did the background, then I did the face. So when I did the face, I was only getting the face wet. It kind of popped up, but can you see the wrinkles that developed? And wrinkles in your face is not good. Now, I have come back over it with watercolor, sparkly watercolor, and then I came back over the face with colored pencil, just to try to kind of, but some of these wrinkles are in here and you just can't get them out. Hi, Judy. So, I mean, I was pleased with the piece, but not the performance of the paper. So I thought, okay, this obviously cannot be watercolor paper. Like, you cannot use it as for watercolor. So I did a mixed media piece. So the same kind of concept. I drew in my girl, and then I painted. Now, I will tell you, this has some buckling in the hair area because I put so much paint, but it's flattened out. But you can see where it started to wanting to, in some areas, it was wanting to come through the color wanted to kind of come through. But on this one, I did the hair. I did everything with acrylic paint. I did the hair, then a base coat of the face. Then I did the background. I had a different background and I didn't like it, but you might be able to see, if I rock it, you can sort of see the pattern underneath the fleur-de-lis. Up close, you can see it in the light. It's got dragon glaze in there with the first pattern, and then I went back over with purple, so it's kind of a tone on tone, and then I came back with the fleur-de-lis in the blues and the greens. No, Dot, it would not. I tried dry. I tried wet on wet. It just wouldn't blend. It's like using marker on watercolor paper and you couldn't blend it out. You would get those hard lines. So I wouldn't advise buying it. I'm just trying to find a stop, Tay Tay. I'm just trying to find a use for it since I already bought it. I mean, I went into Amazon and gave it a 1 star. So I wouldn't purchase it again. I wouldn't recommend purchasing it at all. Now, Janet has bee paper, but it's the 6x9, I think, size. And I think that is the size that comes in 100% cotton. There's a big difference if you're getting 100% cotton and not 100% cotton. So, and it is 90 pound, which is a little thinner. Yeah, I would not buy it. I'm just trying to make do with what I have since I bought it. After I did the acrylic paints, then I did the we're gonna have to evict Tay Tay here. I did the colored pencil because she's not gonna leave me alone. And then after I did the colored pencil, I came back and put, this is Stickles. These are die cuts from Joan. This is Posca paint pen, the mask, and then some rhinestones. So and it's 11 by 17 because I had to cut it the size. Yeah. And it had a lot of other 1 stars that I just must not have really paid it. I don't know. I probably just thought, oh, it's bee paper, and didn't look close enough. I was wanting to do big rabbits was my goal. And I thought, well, I'll start with some of the girls. And like I said, this is 11 by 17. Now I'm happy with this. And that's the way I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it with acrylic paint, which will give me a good base coat, and then either collage on top of it over the acrylic paint, because the acrylic paint will give it seal it to some degree. Colored pencil. Now it's watercolor paper, so it's got that rough texture. I don't know if you can see I don't know if the camera's going to focus enough. You can sort of see the texture of the paper, but I don't mind that because it kind of has a texture like a canvas. So what I was going to work on was the other girl. She's actually the first one I started. Her face, she doesn't have any colored pencil on her yet. So her face is a lot more peach, my paint mixture. But once I go over it with colored pencil, I'm not going to really worry about that. Hi, Devin, and hi, Christy. So now I'm going to work today. What I want to do is the background on this one, and probably we'll get to the hair with the colored pencil. This was the stencil that I was leaning towards. Here, it's half of a big stencil that I think somebody sent Shauna, and then I thought that might be good in there because it had some movement. Yeah, her upright ponytails are going to be really cute. I'll show you the picture that the reference girl. And I thought it was so pretty. Now, she had jewels going down the back, but I thought about putting jewels in here, but I don't think I'm going to. So this is black paint. And then on top of the black paint, I have sprayed dilutions. And I'm going to do Paula's technique. And I'm going to use a sponge. These are just to mask so that I can get around areas without getting on the girl. Now, some of the ink is on her hair, and I don't care. I don't know if I want to use, I think I'm going to use some gesso. Yeah. It kind of made me think of Pippi Longstockings. Tay, you're going to have a bath before the day is over, Mama. If you just don't stop. All right, so I'm going to just use my paper to kind of create a mask. And then we'll move it here and there. And the color of the dilutions should come up. If it doesn't, we can always go back. Depends how heavy I sprayed it. This is a Paula technique. Journal Artista. And I sprayed it with like green, purple, teal, pink. And the ink should, for the most part, like I said, work its way up. See, I think that'll end up being pretty. Let me hold that up so you can see it. All right, and then let's move that stencil here. All right, I'm going to put the bottle down. I need to get some of the pixie stuff. But you just let the spray dry on top of the black paint. And I should have probably sprayed it a little heavier. I think it's going to be okay. And I ordered a special hanger to try for these. Hadn't gotten in yet. All right, and then yeah, it's a really cool technique. If you spray the sprays heavier, again, you want your black paint to dry. Then you spray the sprays and let them, well, I don't think they have to dry, but I like them to dry. The dilutions will come up. Mine's real subtle because I did not spray it real heavy. If you spray it heavier, it would be brighter. And I'm not going to worry about the little bits of hair there because I'll get it with the color pencil. Right now I want to see. I just want to get that little ghosty color between. Okay. And I don't think I sprayed in the middle area very well at all. So it might just be more white. Yeah. I'm just gonna. Now, Paula might still have the video on our YouTube channel. It was from Ustream, but I know that it was on YouTube because that's where I watched it. And it is an older video. It's Journal Artista. Okay. Trying to decide how I want this to. And like I said, there's colored pencil going over the hair. I'm just trying to get the eye to travel in there. Hi, Joycey. Hi, Sherry. And I am keeping my sponge a little on the drier side with paint so that I don't get paint up under the stencil. as badly. And just maybe do more passes. Okay, I think that's good. I think I want a little something in this corner. And right in here too, a little bit. I think that I'm just about done with the background. Okay, I think that's fairly well balanced. Okay, so what I did was, this is just black Deco Arts acrylics. That's what I started with, just regular Deco Arts acrylics. Then I sprayed, when it was dry, I sprayed the black with purple, teal, pink, and lime green. And I covered her as best I could, and I sprayed the area and let that dry. And then I'm just using gesso with a sponge through the stencil, and you get that very soft, it will come back up because that Dilutions is sitting on top of that black. You don't see it, but it's there. I mean, if I hold it up, there are a few places that you might see the spray. So if I were to take like a baby wipe, the spray is there. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on her hair. So I'm going to use colored pencils. And I want my teals. All trying to see if I have a white. There's not really a white that has the, that is a greenish white, but it's not real green. So I think that will work. This is a peacock green. Yeah, that'll work too. All right. And I'm going to get a white. So these are just basic Prisma-colored pencils. And like I said, this is just acrylic paint, so it has tooth to it. I'm going to turn it sideways. And I think I'm going to start with the knots and the bows. And I'm going to start kind of on a, you won't see this at first. Because it's very close to the paint. And I'm not solid coloring. All right, and then I'm going to come in. This slightly darker. Hi, Judy. want some of the highlights to be dark, brighter. Kind of on the bends. I'll worry about the over here later. Every once in a while, you really hit that texture and you get a good layer of color. I'll come in. I'm trying to set those boundaries more. Thank you, Judy. And I'm just kind of working on like one piece at a time. Let me see if I can zoom the camera down lower. You can see a little better. There it goes. That's as close as it's going to go. The only thing I don't like about this new camera is I can't get as close. I may need to lower it on its setting. And then once I'm getting some of the darks in, then I'm just using the light to kind of burnish. And I'll just kind of work one like piece down. And I'll just keep going back and forth between the shades. And kind of burnish it in. All right, Sherry, thanks for stopping by. I think I need a different white. That white's too short. Or a sharpener. Let me hold that up a little closer so you can see. So it definitely gives that sense of strands of hair and variegated in color. Hey, CB. Thank you, Elaine. Tay-Tay. Having to use the water bad today. All right, let's turn this around. Do you not understand me, Tay-Tay? Find a place to lay down. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing kind of over here. Ugh. Well, I think it's under so much pressure right now too, CB, with people doing school at home and work at home. Because we don't really have problems very often, and I notice like when I'm doing my schoolwork that I'm having issues that I never had before. And I haven't added the white yet, which will make a difference. Did you go to any of the auctions today, CB? I didn't because I don't need to spend any money. So, but I expect that's where Eileen is. I'm just staying away because, like, I can't. I'm not buying anything. So even though they're really good deals, I just can't right now. So Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Kathy Berg and Colleen are. There was auctions all day today, I think. I don't know what channels or anything. Like I said, I can't imbibe, so I didn't really pay that much attention. Well, I don't go unless I mean, I'm not going to them unless I'm buying something. There's, yeah, I'm trying to use what I got. Just trying to burnish down the pencil and get it all smooth. So I'm pretty happy with that. Stop. I think I want to work on this side a little more. think there's enough movement in the hair. So let's go up to the bows. All right, and then let's come in with one of these greens is a little more on the forest green side. Okay. Oh, I think that's good. I think that's what's a heart? Okay. I think that works. Okay, I think we just need to okay. Okay. Go in with some dark. I decide what's going on top, what's going underneath. Yep. Tay Tay, stop. All right, this will show up on the black, so I'm gonna try to make some thinner lines. Okay, so that gets some thin strands in there. And I'm going to take this one that's kind of like a white and this does dig into your colored pencil, I will say. I think that's good on that side. Bye, Devin. Some of the darker now. All right, take a little bit of the darker. Okay. Let's add some of that stringy stuff here and there. Get that sharper. Okay. I think that gets her hair. Let's give her eyes a coat of colored pencil. Let's take that darker turquoise. Go back with the white. Okay, so that finishes her hair. And I'm good with, like I said, I'm good with her hair and the background. So really all that's left is her face. Put those up. The hair went a little faster than I thought. All right. Thank you, CB. I have my colored pencils in trays, sorted by color family, so just have to switch it out. Now, her face, like I said, is too orange to begin with. Let's go ahead and start with her lips. Which are, they're colored kind of a poppy color. They're not going to end up being a poppy color. Just trying to get some. This is a henna color. Yeah, Dot, you're funny. Kind of more of a pink color. All right, and then let's try a rosy beige to kind of burnish. Some areas of white. I think I'd rather have that pink's a little. I'm just going to come in with some different pink tones. All right, let's try. It's more like the background. That's kind of more in keeping. White. All right, let's kind of a light peachy color. And like I said, this is so rosy, it's going to look really white in the beginning. So it'll go through a lot of stages. That'll get lightened. I'm just trying to. I need to answer them. I haven't seen a lot of questions from CB. The background? Oh, this is a new girl. Sorry. Okay, so it's a new girl. It's black paint, Delusions with a stencil, an old stencil. Like an old stencil probably from the 80s or 90s from Vaughn that sent to Shauna, and Shauna cut it in half and sent me half. And then so it's not a she's new. No, it's not a commission. I just did it today before you got here, CB. Yeah, it's Paula's old trick with the gesso. And it's the Bee. So essentially I have 3 girls now. So you came in, this was the one I did in watercolor. She's a hot mess because it's all wrinkled. See, CB, how it did? It just buckled really bad with the water. And then this is the one I finished during Shauna's stream. So this is the 3rd girl. Yeah. Yeah. It's just going to take time. That's the color. Because she's too peachy right now. So I got to take all that down. Because my paint was too. That's too rosy. And I got to fill all the grain of that. So you got to kind of use some pressure. I'm getting better. Thank you. Sometimes finding the right. That's better. No. Need that lighter in there. Sorry, I'm focused here for a minute. All right, and then I want to soft. And we'll put her eyebrows on later. Just trying to change direction of the pencil lead and put a little more pressure to kind of fill those. Those grooves. Just trying to like burnish it, get it all pretty much one even tone. I haven't worked on the neck at all. Yeah, I really like making the hair and the eyes the same color. I think that. Now, I'll probably have to touch up some of this black around here. Okay, then come in with the peach. I think that it needs a little more of that shadowy area in some areas. Try to set those cheekbones in a little more. And then blend it back.
You know, there's any large paper clips?
Paper clips?
Yeah.
Yes, there are paper clips in the garage on my side. One of those shelves are some boxes. All right, I think I'm good with that. Eyebrow. Yeah. It's hard to get the two eyebrows even. Maybe, you know. I need to sharpen that. Hi, Tori. Sorry, I'm focusing. I'll check chat in just a minute. I went in and put more mods because I was basically didn't have any at times because it varied who came and who didn't come. All right, we need a highlight. Actually, that black a little bit more. Use the white pen just to put a few little highlights on the lips. But I'm still not real wild about the color of the lips. I think it needs it's not really a color that I'm looking for. Better. All right, let's put that up. Put that up. I think her face is all right. I think she's pretty much done. Let's see. Let me grab something real quick. What she needs. Just touching up where the colored pencil is sort of stuck. In places. At this bottom. Just to kind of take out some of those obvious places where it's stuck. Oh, crap. Get one area clean and then you make a mess in another area. She just about got a tattoo on her neck. Stop it, Tay-Tay. Here we go. I'll just sort of clean up that area. I don't think there's very many. Maybe down here there's some. Areas. Like I said, I'm just being nitpicky now. I'm even gonna put a little more shadow in here. Just let some of that dry brush paint kind of. I think that made it show those curves a little more. Okay. These are not watercolors. No, I don't use water when I make watercolors. They were too thin and I just used the medium. The water evaporates anyways. Sorry. That signature will turn out. The only thing I didn't do that I probably might want to come in and do is give her some tendrils. She's almost done. Let's give her some very light turquoise tendrils. Does not want to go across the face, but gotta kind of carve it. There we go. Gave her a few wispy, it's hard to see on the camera. A little heavier. I think that's helped soften it. And then she has earrings. Okay, so that's her face. Let me back the camera out. Thanks, Dot. Thanks, Elaine. Hi, Sin. All right, so that gives me 2 that are finished. Her and the one that's the Mardi Gras theme. And they're both about 11 by 17. This one might be a little skinnier. So, Lauren, this is what I use. I don't use water. I use this medium, which is gum arabic and glycerin. I just found that the water made it too thin, so I don't hardly use any water at all. Yeah, I have some in alcohol ink that was this all started with Lena did this crazy girl with crazy hair, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I did one in, I think I did one in paint, and then I did some in alcohol ink. So I've been trying to like switch up their hair. Yeah, the mask was a PETA. So she's got a peacock in her hair. And then the mask has all the jewels on it. But this is supposed to be like seaweed. So it's Mardi Gras under the sea. And this one kind of reminded me of Pippi Longstockings with the hair up. I was just looking at flowing hair was my inspiration on Pinterest and finding. Yeah, this medium has glycerin in it. This has gum arabic, glycerin, and I'm sure water. This is a mixture of gum arabic, glycerin, and a preservative, which might even be like a honey. Because a lot of times they use honey as a preservative. Yeah, and different mediums have that you pre-buy have different things in them. This one's from a place called Natural Pigments. So, let me say this one more time. I'm going to make do with this paper because I have 5 yards of it. But I would not buy it. The paper was the Bee cold press, 90 pound, and it's 30 inches by 5 yards. Like I said, I wanted the big roll to do some bigger work, but I'm going to use it for mixed media and limit my liquid. If I use paper and collage, I'm going to make sure that I put it down a lot with glue stick to begin with. You're welcome, Lorena. But the watercolor, I like her, but I was very disappointed in the performance of the paper. So I will not use this paper for watercolor at all. And like I said, I tried stretching the watercolor to begin with before I used it to prevent buckling, and it piled really bad. Like I barely touched it with the brush below her lip, and it just started to fray and pile and tear on me. So paper's awful for watercolor, like horrible for watercolor. But it didn't do badly with the acrylics. It might be easier to do acrylics and not do the colored pencil. It will eat up a lot of your colored pencil. It's just kind of how I like to work. The other thing I thought about was using the paint and then the Mod Podge to seal it and the pit pins. Oh, Dot. Yeah, I just need to, when I order for the bunnies, I need to make sure that I am ordering. Well, actually, what I've decided to do is not order a roll, to go in and get the Strathmore in the super big pads that are flat, because it's also a little difficult to deal with cutting the rolls. And I have a big cutter. I have a cutter from a FedEx Kinko's that closed. We have a friend that worked in one of their, he worked at Alcon oh, here comes Tay Tay. She's got to come say hi, people. And so he brought me a big paper cutter, but it still was difficult to cut. Lay down. There you go. She hates when I stream. Yeah, but it was still difficult to get it to cut and deal with, to get the pieces cut and get them the size I wanted and squared. So I think that's it for me. You're saying hi, Tay Tay. So I do still have my sale on the Etsy shop. Everything is 50% off. So the Etsy shop is under Debbie Epps, and right now everything is 50% off. And the coupon code is Spring 2020. So it's Spring. And you probably can't read that because it's very light. But it's Spring 2020. And it's all the artwork. The watercolors are already discounted. And it's set to be good through May 1st. But I may extend that into June since I'm not going to have any art shows. And both these girls will go on. Thanks, CB. So I don't think Beth will be on tonight. I don't know if anybody else will be on this evening. Maybe Mary. And Tay Tay says, yeah. All right. On that note, I'm going to say good night, and we'll see y'all later. All right. Bye-bye.